Okay. So this would just encompass all county employees and make it equal across the board. And then the Title VI statement is this something on the Title VI update every year. This should have been added to the policy handbook equal a while back. So that's just kind of a housekeeping sort of thing.
So last month we accepted a motion, took a first reading vote on it. It was 6-1, so it wasn't unanimous. So we didn't move forward with suspension of the rules for second and third reading. So we're back to discussion time and we're a motion for a second reading, second and third reading. Suspension of the rules. Comments, thoughts, questions? Anybody have any questions for her?
Or a motion?
I don't agree with this. Mine is if you have health insurance, if you've chosen to take some other health insurance, it is what it is. I mean, we're providing a service. I understand when we're billing ourselves and paying ourselves, but we're not with this. So that's just me explaining why my vote is no.
My concern is ultimately, is there additional cost to the county? I know these are very few incidences where this situation comes up. Comment.
Kind of put you on the spot, Aaron, on the number of county employees that have or do not have insurance.
The amount of employees that do not have the county insurance is minimal. The costs associated with writing off an ambulance ride is very small considering the cost of insurance to the county if they were on the county insurance. So we have about 250 full-time positions. There's about 230, 240 that are on the county's insurance at a given time. That fluctuates, but.
Did you guys clarify if an employee doesn't tell you that they're a full-time employee? Because that.
Right. So it says in the policy, that they would be responsible for that. But if somebody is unable to speak on their behalf and they don't have a representative there, eventually it does come to light that this is a county employee. And it can be written off at that point in time. If that's wording that you want to have put in there, that's fine. It's a policy that's in the handbook. But that all comes to light if that is not discussed during the transport.
I just know that we had one that she didn't respond, and it went to a collection agency. And that's when she decided to say that she was an employee. So that was my big thing, is the clarification of, when does that change? When should the employee?
They should essentially during transport if they are able, but there are situations where they're.
And I completely understand that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, that's 120 days later.
So are you looking at wanting something different than what's already spelled out in the ordinance where it says if the county employee or his or her representative fails to timely provide employment information, the employee shall be fully responsible?
You just want to put, what do you mean? What is timely? That would be my only thing. What's timely?
Timeline between when it goes to, I don't know about the collections part of it, quite honestly. We have had, and I didn't know it was that long of a time span when this one happened, but I've had it very quick turnaround where EMS says, is this person a county employee? Yes. And that was just a week afterwards. So it varies.
good point. If there's a language change to that ordinance, I think it would need to go back to commissioners.
Quickly, from the time an ambulance makes a run, does their billing company send the billing to the patient?
That is not done in-house, and I'm not
Yeah,
sure
an
how
outside source that does it.
Yeah,
They gotta do their charts and all that to get.
Yeah.
submitted for it to even-
So they usually
I
do,
can interject this factual information. We enlisted the services of EMS on May 30th, and we've still yet to see a bill on the mail.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's not that long ago, but.
yeah.
I would say probably a week for processing before, you know. We just, I mean, Jason just talked about the fact that they review every chart.
Which is good.
Oh, no.
Standard procedure though probably goes to the insurance company first, then it gets whether they,
Well, then it would go to the billing company, Acumed, and Acumed has to process it and create the bill, go to the insurance. Yes, you would get an EOB at that point in time.
you probably won't see them for 30, 45 days.
Probably up to 45 days.
So at 45 days, then up to 120 days is when it goes in for collection? Automatically?
So it comes back to the director again,
Okay.
and then the director chooses to turn them over.
So at this point today, I think there's still some question and discussion. If someone cares to make a motion, make it for a second reading only. This isn't a terribly urgent matter from my understanding, so that if it needed to be discussed as far as language with the commissioners and things like that, we've got time to still work on it.
Commissioner Howard, give me information, 30 days to bill and 90 to 180 days.
So is there only holdup on this? A time frame, assigning a time frame to it? Or would you still not even be in favor of it, Christina, even if it had a time frame on it? I didn't mean to throw you on the bus, I'm just asking.
No, you're fine. No, I have been engaged in the public, and so it's not always,
If I may, the one thing we did discuss as far as cost to the employee that didn't have insurance was if their deductible wasn't paid or whatever, that would help them offset that. It's not like if they just filed with their insurance company that it wouldn't cost them anything, because it could still cost them. And so we were just thinking that, like Aaron said, the cost of them having insurance, the percentage of people that are going to use this benefit are probably very small. And so the fact that they're not costing the county $19,000 a year because they're on our insurance, if we can help them out with something like that, then it would be a nominal charge to us. As a benefit.
And be more fair.
Be more
to
fair
all
across the board.
employees.
If everyone that's on county insurance does pay for it anyway, so. That was the thought process.
I get both sides of this argument. I just wonder who else does this? I mean, we provide outstanding benefits if they're not taking them for some reason.
I'm not sure how.
Seems like we're getting into a loop of, I mean, it's good that it'd be very little expense and almost never used, but it's almost a loop of, you know, I hate writing more legislation just to solve one issue that happened is what it kind of feels like to me, you know, like it's not a big issue for the county, so why are we paying for that? That's my opinion.
I've been here for 10 years and this policy has always been, I hate saying, you know, it's always been this way, but has been included in this and it has always been this way. I just am looking for fairness across the board for all employees. Picking and choosing isn't something that we necessarily like to do. Well, you don't have the county insurance, so sorry, you don't get this benefit, but the person sitting next to you does.
Well, I mean, they're choosing, though, not,
Correct, yes, but, and then in the long run, they are saving the county $19,000 a year. Average.
I get that it's a small amount. I have a hard time with this. Everything has to be 100% fair all the way across. I mean, we're adult, we make decisions. We have that conversation a lot, I feel like, a lot. And not every single employee is the same across the board. We have a very huge range of employees that we employ.
could this spill over into other, let's call them one-off scenarios, but unique scenarios that were like, well, it wasn't totally fair to them because they did this, and maybe we need to write that in too.
In an effort to move this along,
Thank you.
I'm going to make a motion to approve said as written. And if it doesn't get seconded or passed, so be it.
I'll second it.
State this is ordinance 1019.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah. Ruth and Lisa. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 2. Be on next month's meeting.
So that was just for ordinance 1019. We still need to vote on
Ordinance
Title
1019. Title 6 is in that ordinance.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all in one.
I was asking her before the meeting
Okay.
if we wanted to break them out or not, but we left it in one.
Okay, perfect. That's what my motion was.
I want to thank Aaron and the commissioners for all the work on this because they're being thoughtful employers and managers, and appreciate your time on this so far.
So we are only doing the second reading.
Second reading today. Third reading.
Next month?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Made it right. One McDonald's. Getting chocolate.
Next up, we have Alex Dobson, Veterans Affairs Officer, for annual office update.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
You kind of do, yeah.
I'm going with you guys.
You know.
It's Alex.
I did.
And
Yeah.
Good afternoon. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Alex Dobson. I'm the Steuben County Veteran Service Officer. I help veterans and family members navigate their federal benefits or any other question from homelessness to grants to schooling to housing. I think there's some other ones involved there too. So every year there's not really a way to feel your impact within the public. The VA even states that too, other than the federal dollars that comes back within the county. Every year, the VA releases what's called a GDX report. You type in VA Veterans GDX report, the finances as far as how much compensation and pension, you can bring that out for every county within every state within the nation. The VA doesn't know where all the veterans are, but they know where the money goes. So that first one I gave you is the breakdown for our county. So within Steuben County, we have 2,090 veterans, 198 of those are female veterans. The total GDX expenditures last year for Steuben County was $26,439,000. Out of that, for service connections, so that means disabilities that will happen from service or injured while in service, that was $13 million, $376,000.
Alex, is that $26,439?
Add 3 zeros onto that.
That's easier, okay.
Okay.
That's the
No,
way you
that's-
read it,
yes,
but
no, that's-
that's not the way I read
Yeah,
it.
so if you go to
Okay.
GDX, everything's 3 zeros off.
Okay,
So you're not looking at all these
Okay.
big numbers there. So
thank
that's,
you.
Thank you.
that represents $26 million that comes back within the Steuben County.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. So if you go down there, this is like an annual thing that we take in within our association that kind of breaks down, and I can give you throughout the whole state the breakdown, but 22, back to 2018, 2015, 2010, and we track within our association salaries throughout the county. The big thing that breaks down is your saturation within a population of veterans within the county. That's how you know your saturation, how much effective you're making it as far as reaching those veterans. The national average is around 40%. Steuben County, we're at 43%. So that's showing you that we are above that national average, which is good. Out of those 2,090 veterans, 899 of those are receiving some sort of, whether it be VA healthcare or VA compensation and pension. So that's the breakdown of federal dollars. I would like to point out with Steuben County's, devotion to veterans in this office that we're getting to a point where we're above the national average, where before that we were below. So that's just showing you that supporting this office, not myself, but this office has given an improvement back to Steuben County. That's federal dollars that doesn't cost Steuben County, that's coming back to this county. So that's that. Is there any questions on that?
How long has that office been full-time?
2017. 2015, I took the position part-time. 2017, it was full-time. So you can look at the data from before then to now and show that it does show with increasing. Indiana is unique in many ways. The state does not fund this office. It just says you have to work a minimum of 1,000 hours. So there's a lot of counties that are not full-time.
That's what I've heard having this
So
conversation.
that's why Indiana ranks low in the low 40% of state benefits of federal dollars. That's money that's there that's not getting utilized because those veterans are not receiving their benefits that the state is missing out on. Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, they're state funded, or at least partial comes back to the county that makes sure that those offices are full-time regardless of the veterans. So that's where you can really get the details of that. Is there any more questions on the GDX report as far as federal dollars? And if you want, I can send this out so you can look at everywhere as far as the state compared to other counties. I'd be more willing to send that over.
That would be great.
Yeah. Get that, Kelly, you want me to send that to Kelly?
Yeah, she'll be
That's
sending
fine.
it.
I can forward it.
Okay. Okay, so that's that. Now to the fun stuff. So I am the president for the Indiana County Veteran Service Officer Association of the state. We just became a 501c3. We've been a state non-for-profit since '92. Hamilton County. So there was an individual that was what I do down in Hamilton County. Long story short, that individual wasn't doing their job. Veterans missed out on benefits. And the statute states that county veteran service officers fall under the direction of the director of IDPA for state benefits. The law is really plain how it's written out. So Hamilton County commissioners versus taking the responsibility on that sued IDPA. As of 22, as of May 17th, that formally came down to where the judge found in favor of Hamilton County, saying that county veteran service officers fall under the direct supervision of the IDVA director, not the county. So working with the IDVA director, Dennis, we're we're waiting to see if the Attorney General is going to appeal this decision. Because my thing is, the state does not help out fund this office. And they don't. So they don't have any say in what happens with this office. It's the master servant clause of who's flipping the bill and who's ultimately responsible. If I mess up, it's not the state that's responsible, it's Steuben County government, I feel. So there's a lot of things that are gonna happen here as far as these offices go. The legislator could pick this up and change everything. The state could not be appealed right now, so we could fall under IDBA direction and leadership. And then there's a new governor coming in that could take out the current IDBA director, put somebody else in there, and then everything else could change. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's very fluid right now that I am a part of. So is there any questions? Good old Hamilton County, that's, so.
But you get your, say marching orders, your data, your information, I mean, that comes down to both federally and from the state. Right?
As far as
how you can administer benefits or how you can help.
so you have to be accredited with the National Service Organization. I'm accredited with the American Legion. That gives me federal credentials that allow me to access federal data and allow me to file formal claims on behalf of veterans. You have to be formally accredited. Attorneys can be accredited or a non-for-profit, nationally recognized organization. So that's the part that I have to fulfill. I'm fulfilled there. But it's who is the master servant in this is what it comes down to. County's got to fund it, but you don't get any say in how this office does its job. So.
That's not unique to us.
Right, so the IDBA director feels it falls within the county should be there, but there might be, if the legislative side might pick this up and it's either maybe there's a grant or we become state employees or is what it is. So there's a lot of things going on here. This is the latest. I'm waiting for the appeal. There's supposed to be happening from the Attorney General. I'm talking to the IDBA director. As soon as this stuff starts coming down, I will, I've already brief the commissioners and I will come back to the council on this because it's knows.
Well, anytime, keep up the good work.
We're blessed to have you there. Thank you. That's our point.
And your comment that it, not because of you, it is because of you that office is successful right now.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
And you didn't mention transportation. Aren't you in charge of all the transportation for?
I was, I did that for a couple of years. That was DAB. I stepped down from that. It's just hard finding individuals that could volunteer, would pass the exam. It's a volunteer basis that the VA gives you insurance on. It's very federalized. Any more on that lawsuit?
What we can do proactively. I mean,
So there's a couple of things that can happen. If the county, if it is not appealed, if the county, I think, objects into that decision, one county that can overrule another county's lawsuit, I guess. Working with Joe has been, Joe from, he's what I do down in Hamilton County. The commissioners down there might pick that up. And be more thought if we could all get together. We don't know. If the Attorney General doesn't pick it up, we're going to go a different way. Because this is a county, and the county is the one that should have saying it. Unless the state wants to start paying the counties to help out. And that would be the ultimate goal if we could get every county within fully funded. That is the end goal, and that would help the whole state out. That would be the mission is to help every veteran and family member within the state of Indiana.
How many counties only have part-time out of the 92?
About half.
I know it's very comforting to the veterans when they come in and can get clear direction and assistance through the office. I've heard nothing but praise. I think that those of you that are going to the AIC next week, is it?
It's this Friday.
State call meeting, right? Talking to your legislators. Make sure they're all up to speed on the issue.
And
Supposed to author it.
and if you break down the dollars that this, I mean, if you just want to go from the business standpoint, we're missing out on federal dollars that should be coming here and we're missing out on. I know the VA is looking at possibly putting a medical office between here and DeKalb. Obviously, we want it up here. So that'd be federal dollars that could go. October 11th, 13th, IDA is having a women's retreat up here at Pokagon. Pretty cool. They're getting out of Indianapolis to women's retreat, renting out the whole Pokagon State Park up there. And then that's about all I have. So my door is always open. If there's anything you want me to speak on, just reach out. I'll be down here in a heartbeat. All right?
Thank you. Thank you. Next on the agenda, I don't think,
No, she could not make it.
she's not gonna be here.
No.
So, she has her health emergency preparedness grant reimbursement request. $55,000.
Commissioners already passed it on.
Start date is the 1st of July.
Motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second it.
Rick and Bill.
There is no county, sorry,
Yeah, any further discussion?
there's no county match, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Else, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. That's it. Thank you.
I just appreciate how much she goes out and tries to get dollars.
Yeah, sure.
It's really in her wheelhouse.
Either that or
Next is the treasurer, Missy Dixler's transfer request from second deputy part-time. Hi, Missy.
Hi. Just doing some bookkeeping, housekeeping, and I need to transfer some money to my part-time. It is in the red right now.
Line items funded, right? Second deputy line items.
Yes.
So currently you don't have a second deputy?
Well, right, no, I don't have a second deputy. I was holding that spot for Leanne since she's got the new treasurer coming in. She may be coming in early, so.
You have backlog right now? Workload?
It's not too bad. Well, some of the return to mail, yeah.
Just trying to get a sense for whether this is gonna get you enough. How long is it? When do?
It should be okay because I'm trying to just do like vacations and only work someone 8 to 12. Because I have somebody from 11:45 to 4:30 in the afternoon, and then that'll make 2 people in the office at least during vacation. So I'm not going to be having to be here the whole time. It's just a seasonal person.
Coverage.
Yeah, just for coverage.
That's
So
like shared
somebody can go to
person.
the bathroom, so don't lock the door, or
Any further questions for Missy?
Motion.
Motion.
Move to approve.
I will second it.
Christina?
I think that's great that you're gonna have Leanne come in. I think that's great.
Get the ground running.
Mm-hmm.
Any further comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. Thank you, Missy.
thank you.
Next, we have Chris Salos from the probation firm.
Good evening. Good morning, as usual. The probation department is requesting again approval to apply for the Bulletproof Vest grant through the Department of Justice. This is something that we do every year. We don't necessarily replace vests every year. I don't anticipate replacing vests next year. We just replaced 3 of them within the department. But there is always turnover or the unfortunate circumstance when you actually need to replace a vest. This is not funds that we receive up front. This is a reimbursement on the backside once those vests are purchased. So just a precautionary thing on our part, just to make sure that there are funds there to supplement that. It's a 50% reimbursement from the Department of Justice, but just to make sure that funds are there should we need them.
This is, they have an expiration on it regardless, right?
5 years.
5 years.
You have the dollar matching amount in your budget already to cover this,
Yep.
should you have to.
Yep, it's already budgeted. There again, hopefully we don't need those. Like I said, we just replaced the 3 vests for the officers within the department that do field supervision, so.
$575 match amount. Comments, questions, motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Tina? Rick?
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You as well.
You too. Next up, sheriff's got an additional appropriation request and commissioners, correct me if I state this wrong. So I believe this jail video camera system, $6,000 was due to the price increase over what we, from when we approved it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So we already approved the,
212,000.
yeah, 12,000. This is out of Cume.
Yes. Yeah. So it's 2 things separate.
I would.
Or we want to
Yeah.
do the $6,000 camera system first?
Yes, please.
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
Bill. Any comments or questions? Other than we love these inflationary times.
No, but we need to cover our officers, I think.
We sure do.
They're important.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. Now, he's got the bulletproof vest grant proposal that we've seen before. County shares 50%, which is $5,300. $10,600 total. And we have to have them, so.
Yeah.
Guess the grant's better than not a grant.
Yes, it is.
Sure. Motion. You ready,
And I will second.
Christine? Any further comments or questions? None, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. Mr. Howard?
I'm sorry.
Laughing.
Sorry.
I can't function without him, I'll tell you.
Afterward, yes.
Yes, no, I'm sorry.
This is a reappropriation of funds received from the sale of our own ambulances, which will in turn be used to purchase a new Medic One chase vehicle.
Another.
Replace the existing one because it had high mileage when
It's high
it
mileage.
memory served.
And we'll try and limp that one along as far as we can, but an effort to, knowing that we have 2 new ambulances ordered, but they're not until 2027 delivery date. This is in an effort to extend the life of the 5 we currently have.
The program's working out pretty good, isn't it, the Chase? I mean, it's not even,
It also helps with some of the staffing issues
I
too.
mean, it's a statewide, nationwide program, these Chase vehicle programs for paramedics. It's not Steuben County.
We don't currently have one. We do have one?
Yes, we do. It's an old sheriff's vehicle.
That's getting repurposed where? We don't know yet.
It's probably gonna get retired.
Oh, okay.
We'll limp it along as far as we can, but when the repairs start becoming an issue, then we'll retire.
It's about the same shape as the coroner's vehicle.
Oh, that's lovely.
We're replacing that. They kept their same model. About the same year.
I was asked,
I'm gonna say we maximize the life out of it.
I was asked, does that go home with Jason or does it stay here?
It stays here.
Thank you. That's what I thought, but
There are times I know where his parents have a home on Hamilton Lake. And there are times where he will take it there when he's responding to cover the county in his off hours. But it does not go to his home.
that was it, just so I could answer that question. Thank you.
The funds already appropriated for the balance on that bid. Thank you.
Yes, we have a line item that we're gonna take the balance from.
What's in the budget the last time?
It must have been a proper budget then.
There was a keying error in the line item for tires.
That's why that tire budget was so large.
Yes, so instead of doing an additional appropriation, since those numbers have already been appropriated, we will pull it from there.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Yeah, total cost of it, the vehicle's about 54,000, additional 14 to outfit it. Like sirens.
The next question was rigging.
It's going to the same place the sheriff uses.
That's good.
Yes.
Columbia City.
Vinyl on it and everything.
What's that?
Get the vinyl on it.
So we'll start with that. Does anybody care to make a motion? Bill?
I'll second that.
Christina? So reappropriating those funds from the sale of the ambulance back into that line item. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. Got that, Dylan? What else you got for us, Commissioner?
I don't have a whole lot for you other than it is official that we've exchanged the old courthouse for the new judicial center now. I'm sure most of you are aware of that. And now we did a walkthrough on, what day was that? Tuesday. Go through kind of a wants and needs checklist. All the departments now that they're in there, see what's working, what's not working. So we'll get through all that.
From my experience, not as close as the commissioner's experience, but the process went very well.
Yeah, I'd say, everybody was very good over there, very patient, very understanding. You're moving 160 years of history into one location to another. You think if you move a household, it's a big job. Well, this is even probably a little bigger.
Hopefully we've got a facility now that will satisfy this county for a couple hundred years.
That's the hope.
Sometime on July 1st, we'll let.
Okay, July 1st is the dedication and it'll be at noon. Guest speaker is Chief Justice Rush of the Indiana Supreme Court.
So cool.
Yeah, pretty excited to have her there. And Judge Fee was the one that made that invitation.
What's the timing on closing out the financing piece on that?
You're probably looking at late summer. by the time it's all said and done, by the time everything's completed, late summer, early fall. When you get through the punch lists, make sure everything's working. We are on the positive side of the bonds right now to a pretty fair amount from the estimation I've seen.
Good news.
And we're not so far that we'll be penalized.
We haven't got that report yet. For those of you who don't know, we were fortunate enough to have oversold, the bond sold at a premium. We received more proceeds because of the sold at a premium. All those funds were invested while they weren't being used, but the IRS will only allow you to earn a certain amount of dollars off of your funds. And if you earn too much, they penalize you.
They want their.
So in other words, if you're too efficient with the tax dollars and the bond dollars, you get penalized. At least that's my interpretation of it.
Pretty
That's
fair.
correct. Perfect sense.
We were fortunate to be in a rising interest rate environment and could have got it going a little sooner and been a little better off on our bond rate, in my opinion, but overall, the timing panned out pretty good for us.
From that standpoint, the revenue that bond generated certainly made up for a lot of that.
Yep. I don't think if there's anything else I have questions for you all. We just met over there at the old courthouse and I was kicking around walking through the rooms. It looks really weird now with no one functioning in there, but I hadn't taken the opportunity yet to go all the way to the top of the bell tower, so I did that.
Yeah, very nice.
See that?
It's a warm day to do that.
Yes.
Didn't see that. I was thinking I might, but I didn't. That's pretty neat.
Very neat to you.
I think it's gonna be interesting where we land with.
So is the fish gonna come down when we go to the new one?
What's that? Oh, the fish.
Fish.
No, I don't think so.
They'll use Junior's fish.
Not the weather vane fish?
If you've not been over to the New Juice Justice Center, which I'm sure most of you have, but take a walk through. You'll see a lot of smiles on faces.
If you walk through there a few times like I have, and then you go back and you walk through that old building, it's like you didn't know when you walk in that old building, like, how did they function? How did they put this volume of people through here
For
safely?
as long as they did this.
For as long as they did.
Without any incidents, that's pretty amazing.
Well, if you don't have anything else before us,
I do not.
we're gonna do other business.
Anyone has questions for myself or?
Very good. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for the yes.
Thanks for being here. You were all presented with your May monthly comparison report and financial statements.
Yes, you printed them for us. Thank you so
Yes.
much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Normally I get my trending notes in here, but my surplus is down all week, but I went through it. I'm just trying to recall, but there are some big balance changes in there, just in the timing of projects that were in the works on. I guess that's maybe a segue into our conversation with our Peters Municipal Consultants. Conversation we had going into budgets about what kind of impacts we're gonna have and what things we'll be looking at. So he highlighted a few departments that we're gonna need to really hammer through those budgets with the department heads and talk about strategy. But overall, we're in solid fiscal health. We've been given our marching orders by them. Not exceed certain things, or you're putting funds at risk, so line items at risk. He was
You were
very,
looking at me when you said that.
he was very complimentary, though. It was a job that we did managing through things we've had to do the last couple of years. Does anybody have anything on these that they Discussion or someone like to acknowledge that we've reviewed it?
Motion to acknowledge we've received it.
Second that.
So you've got our additional appropriation resolution for today?
I do.
Yep.
Did you want to take
I need a
vote on that,
motion.
Dan?
Oh, yeah, we can take count, maybe.
Nope.
All those in favor, raise your hand.
Thank you. Nope, this is one. Thank you. Yes, I did.
Shortest one we've seen in a long time.
I know, I appreciate that, thank you.
Sorry.
Take a motion.
Previous ones.
Yeah.
All right, so, in packet,
Should've been.
shouldn't be. Resolution 06-2024-01. Funds 1138 cum cap, 6,000 for the sheriff's office jail. Just for the additional on the video camera system, $29,541.50. Mess.
Need a motion on
I do.
I don't know if I've ever seen it so short.
I don't think I've had one that short.
Any other comments?
Toad will sit on his hands.
There's a comment for you. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. That's it. All right, down here.
I got two of them right here.
Thank you. I thought that was one that I didn't want to sign it.
Pass it down for signatures and then, this interfund transfer. Auditor here. So did you figure out,
I did not get to ask
did you get to
Aaron.
ask Aaron?
I am almost positive though that it's with them. But I did not get to ask Aaron though.
Health insurance monthly claims numbers, double what it is normally. And, I asked the auditor earlier today if that was 2 months worth or what that was.
I believe it's 2 months worth.
Commissioners, you happen to know?
What's that?
Health insurance claims,
It says it's for me.
they've been very steady and it's not uncommon to have them spike, but this month.
I didn't have a phone here, so I can't text them.
I haven't seen anything from USI. So
Okay. So we do need a motion to transfer the money to pay those claims.
I will make a motion to transfer the claim, health insurance claims.
Jason,
I will second it.
Christina? Any other comments or questions? None, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6.
Thank you.
Okay, so we got some minutes. Decide you want us to
You have.
January, start with December, or do them individually?
There's not gonna be December. That's the one I said. I
Yep.
still needed those line items in there.
So you got February and March.
I got January, February, March. Because the other January meeting was a special meeting. We still had a full meeting. January.
And you got the grammatical correction.
Yes, so, Dan found, a number that I needed to correct, a dollar amount, and I did that. And then, what was it, abatement? I think I had the word abatement. That was spelled incorrectly. And so we corrected that. I didn't hear from anyone else, so I went ahead and printed everything. So. Corrected what you gave me.
So pick them all together or separate, if you've got any comments on any in particular.
So December meeting minutes, item number 4 is not
Scratch.
on the table for today.
I have some phone numbers that need to be put in there. There were just some line items that were left blank.
And is everybody here all those meetings? But we can take them all together.
The attendance, right?
Yeah. I think we can take them all together as one, as far as I'm concerned.
Got a motion.
And I moved to approve. That's right, yes.
I'll second.
Can I ask why
Lisa.
it matters if we know? Why?
Well, a lot of times if you weren't at the meeting, you would recuse yourself from voting to approve it. So I just.
Oh, that makes sense.
So our June meeting minutes, when they come around, Tony will have to recuse himself. I don't know if this technology, if you can go back and watch the whole meeting and all that, but the way you do it traditionally is you don't vote on minutes you weren't there for.
That makes sense. We're just always here, so this has never been a thing,
No.
which I think speaks highly for everybody. Why are we laughing? Will said we can only laugh after.
Just smiling.
All in favor, raise your right hand. 6.
While we're on the topic of meeting minutes, Kelly, has there been any progression towards the
So I
technology things we talked about?
did download one and it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to. And it also, I had to pay. You can download it, you can turn it on, yes. You can download it and turn it on and then it'll play on like my phone or the computer in the background while we're having the meeting. And it'll dictate, but if I want to send it, my recording to this thing, whatever it was, you have to pay. It wasn't free. I haven't figured out how to use it within the meeting yet.
It's like Rocket Lawyer. Can't get a form to print if you don't pay.
Yeah. Don't ever be Rocket Lawyer.
Let me tell you.
So, but what it did do, it did give me, I paid $20. I just went ahead and paid the money, paid $20 because I wanted to see what it could do. And it did the meeting. I gave it the meeting down at the EDC. And it was really pretty cool how it, because that was a long meeting because it had all the NIPSCO stuff and it had all of our meeting and then all the lit stuff and how it compiled it all was pretty impressive.
They were all stretched out that meeting
Yes.
too.
Yes, it was difficult for me to hear when I was listening to it, so I am very impressed with how well it actually typed the stuff out.
That's cool.
That is cool.
But it is AI, yes.
So we may see it soon. Good for you.
I don't know, I'm looking into one other option to be able to help with that, and I just have not heard back from that company yet.
She told me we talked too much.
Yeah. I did,
Oh, that we talked to.
yeah, I did.
I have been told that my whole life, Kelly.
Nobody's surprised. All right, so email correspondence, reports, Indiana State Controller Elise sent out the Lisa's State of Indiana's financial health. It was emailed to you on the 3rd. Reminder of the state called county council annual conference, State Board of Accounts. Saturday, June 22nd.
Yeah.
We have 3 going.
I have 3, Christina, Rick, and Tony.
Come back with some good information for us again, which,
Okay, he needs to get a hold of me. We'll eat it.
Well, yeah, so
Might be able to get the hotel.
okay,
And I need to hear from him.
I'm gonna I'll text him as soon as he needs.
He needs to get a hold of me tomorrow, first thing.
Rick, anything new from your position with the?
we did have a meeting down in Plainfield, weeks ago. Right. They presented us with audit for the AIC, so they've been their annual audit, which they passed with flying colors. Talked about some of their investments that they do to keep themselves healthy, for them to put out more programs for us. Along, and I think all 92 counties have paid their dues, which Lake County is always one of those that decides when they want to pay theirs. But had it at Plainfield at the Law Enforcement Academy. So we did get a nice little tour of the academy. They are in the midst of a serious upgrade in the academy. That's going to more than double their possible people to have there. Did see a class of state police at the academy doing their training. Of course, they won't look left, right, blink, or say boo to anybody that ever talks to them. And they have their own wing. They do not, other than cross paths to eat. That's about it.
Really?
They are totally separate, trained different and everything else, so. Something else I was gonna say on that aspect. The Sheriff's Association requested to come visit, and our own sheriff actually was one of those that came and visited. They are asking AIC to become a member. The question for everybody is why not? So they're skeptical of the Sheriff's Association wanting to get involved with AIC because they've always wanted to be in their own sandbox and not play in ours and be part of it. So there'll be more discussion, I think, at our annual meeting. There'll be some more information that might come out. They may or may not take a vote to at least make them an associate member, a non-voting member. Or it might wait for another year. They're running short on time to actually get it to a vote in our annual meeting, so they might wait for another year to have that vote because all members have to vote.
An upside?
An upside, they have at any given time 2 or 3 sheriffs in the State House listening to legislation that pertains to them. They could possibly help with any manpower to persuade any of that pertains to the rest of us. They said that any given time they have 3 and they could have 6 or 8 more show up if need be to leverage any of that their powers and duties, I guess. So they say there's some skepticism why now, and there'll be a lot of discussion going forward before I think it hits a vote to the whole voting. Other than that, say they're healthy. They're finalizing plans for our September annual meeting. Belterra, I guess they did a little upgrade so the hotel there could host us instead of busing us into Vive for their evening. Yeah. All in all, good meeting, just a lot of driving. 3 hours down, 3 hours back.
Well, thanks for serving.
Yes.
Thanks for.
Have you had a reason through a meeting?
Something I'm aware of.
So item 3 there then is Indiana Council Association reception. Invite 6, it's Friday.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was for those that are going down there.
Yep.
They're going down to that. Yeah, there's an invite.
And Steuben County Community Foundation Quarterly Journal. And I was going to say in the AIC publication that we all got an email or mail last few days, really interesting article in there. I'm sure Erin's probably seen it. I'm sure she does, about why do people want to work in county government and what keeps them employed and what's the difference? How does it feel different to be a government than private enterprise? It's really well written. It gave me some perspective.
I know, can we get into that?
So there's always 3 or 4 super good articles in that publication.
She did get that also, because she and I were talking about it. Yeah.
Okay.
The whole article was on HR. I mean, the
The whole book.
book, yeah.
Yeah, and then under outstanding there, that's still gonna remain outstanding because
Yeah.
Erin doesn't have all her stuff back yet. I talked to the sheriff yesterday. So everybody's fine, just they'll come around in budget discussions, so.
I'll remove it off of there as outstanding for the next meeting, since he's gonna let it come around at budget time.
Bill, help me out here. What's the training I'm going to get with the EMA in July? It's an acronym.
Right. I was gonna say, we got an email invite for the July 10th active shooter exercise at Training University. It went to the elected officials, I believe. Just if you can make it, it's gonna be neat to watch because you're gonna see our investments in our law enforcement and how they're gonna go to work in our EMS and whatever else, EMA. And so it's full-blown exercise. The week it's happening is I'll say the State Police Kids Camp that week. So they're gonna have 62 kids on campus that they're gonna incorporate them into this exercise.
I thought you raised your hand to be a victim or something, didn't you?
I've been there, done that. Nope. So, me personally, I think it'd be very gratifying if, we can have a good show of elected officials there to watch. They're gonna set up a staging area just for us, talking with Lee, for the elected officials to go and watch. Or we'll be in different areas to be able to watch this. Or who knows, they may throw us a stop the bleed kit and we may go to work. So, but it's gonna be pretty intense. There's a lot of planning that's went into it. Rick and I go into the fire chiefs meetings. They've been talking about it since January. So it'll be good stuff. And there was one other training that we had sent out for. What was that one?
LAPC, tabletop drill, that one? I can't remember when that one is. It was either a morning session or an afternoon session.
I'm not sure about that. I know the active shooter will be a good one.
The other one had to do with traffic, right?
Oh, the traffic incident management system, yes, through the state, which will affect on us in our capacity. Unless you have to see how the police comes and yell at people that disobey the traffic signs.
I know exactly what they say. Anything else coming before council?
I just want to tell you all that it was so amazing to go to the convention. It was exciting. Tony and Desi and Jonathan and I hit all 6 receptions the night before. My feet hurt a lot. And then we witnessed just my feet. Yes,
Okay.
yes. No. There was too many people to meet. Too many. Now, I think Jonathan and Desi had a little bit more fun than Tony and I, but lots of people to meet, lots of things going on. Saw Renee there and Phil. And then we witnessed history. You don't know that we elected a lieutenant governor that was not the governor's choice. It was an interesting day. It was exciting. And everyone from Steuben County showed up and everyone from Steuben County stayed. It was impressive because a lot of people left after the vote. It was only an 80 vote swing, right?
63.
63. Sorry, he just, talked a lot of numbers at
One time
us.
in my life, that is the most chaotic event. It's just crazy. The behavior is crazy. Conventions.
Yeah, some of them rallying,
Yeah.
yelling, screaming.
I didn't think we had anybody that was.
We did 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, we were warned that there was extra, but I didn't see anything walking around in town. I didn't notice anything. I mean, there was excitement, but I didn't think that there was anything that was waited a long time to vote. But other than that, and we had Steuben County has some of the best seats in the House. It was exciting. So.
This is by far the shortest agenda we've had in a long time, but you know what season we're heading into. Lots of long
Stand
meetings.
by.
So, Anything else, anybody? I want to thank everybody that participated in this evening's meeting, being an evening meeting. Appreciate everybody being here.
Hopefully it gets on. I tried to check the live stream while we was going here. I couldn't get it. The little 7-second blurb that I put on when I was setting it up showed up on YouTube, but
I got it. It's on there.
this is on there right now?
Yeah, I was watching it.
Okay, if I couldn't find it, I was looking to see if it was on or not. Oh, no.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second it.
Aye.
Early this morning.
That's a long day. Oh, yeah.
I gotta get this in my calendar. I think I already have that dedication.
Is it good?